Every great discovery begins with a question, and sometimes that question can end the world. Humanity has always reached for knowledge, even when the cost was unknown, even when the risk was everything. It began with a flash brighter than the sun, when the Trinity Test proved mankind could hold the power of creation or destruction in its hands. Then came the horrors hidden in Unit 731, where science turned into torture, and progress became an excuse for inhumanity. Ethics collapsed again in Tuskegee, where doctors traded compassion for observation, letting disease consume lives in the name of knowledge. And in the modern age, the Large Hadron Collider dared to recreate the birth of the universe, while whispers spread that it might swallow the Earth instead. From the skies came Tsar Bomba, the most terrifying man-made explosion in history. Shaking the planet with the strength of a god's wrath. But perhaps the most chilling experiments weren't explosions, they were invisible. The CIA's MK-Ultra sought to control minds, while Starfish Prime lit up space itself with nuclear fire, proving even the heavens could be weaponized. Curiosity claimed lives in the Demon Core experiments, where a single slip turned science into a death sentence. And far away, the Soviet Union secretly created a biological arsenal, biopreparat, that could have ended millions without a single bomb. Even today, the line between research and fear blurs in Alaska, where HAARP's mysterious antennas spark theories of weather control and global manipulation. Across every era, these experiments reveal a haunting truth. The closer we come to understanding the universe, the closer we come to destroying ourselves. Because in the end, it's not the experiment that's dangerous, it's the hands that dare to perform it. In the barren desert of New Mexico, just before dawn on July 16, 1945, a group of scientists stood trembling. They weren't sure if their creation, the first atomic bomb, might ignite the atmosphere and end all life on Earth. Still, they pressed the button. The explosion, codenamed Trinity, unleashed the force of 20,000 tons of TNT. The shockwave shattered windows 160 kilometers away. When the blinding light faded, Robert Oppenheimer whispered a line from ancient scripture.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. That moment didn't destroy humanity, but it changed it forever. The nuclear age had begun, and the genie would never return to the bottle. There are experiments that push science forward, and there are those that tear morality apart. Deep in Manchuria during World War II, Japan's Unit 731 became a secret horror. Prisoners, men, women, even children, were used as living test subjects. They were infected with plague, frozen alive to study frostbite, and dissected without anesthesia. Entire Chinese villages were exposed to biological weapons, killing over 200,000 civilians. When the war ended, the world expected justice. Instead, the US quietly granted immunity to Unit 731's leaders in exchange for their data. The cost of knowledge was measured in human suffering. For 40 years, hundreds of black men in Alabama believed the U.S. Public Health Service was treating them for bad blood. In truth, they were being watched, as untreated syphilis slowly destroyed their bodies. Even after penicillin became a cure, doctors withheld it just to see what happens. Dozens died, wives were infected, and children were born with the disease. When the truth came out in 1972, America's trust in science was shattered. The scandal led to strict bioethics laws in the Belmont Report, reminding the world that no discovery is worth a human life. Buried beneath the Swiss-French border lies the Large Hadron Collider, a 27-kilometer ring built to recreate the moment after the Big Bang. Before it was turned on, rumors spread. Could it create black holes that might swallow the planet? Physicists laughed off the idea, then paused, because, in theory, no one knew for sure. The collider roared to life in 2008. No apocalypse came, only the discovery of the Higgs boson, the God particle. It was a triumph of science and a chilling reminder of how close curiosity can come to catastrophe. The world had seen atomic bombs before, but never like this. On October 30th, 1961, a Soviet bomber released Tsar Bomba, the largest nuclear device ever built. The explosion was so massive, 50 megatons, 3,000 times Hiroshima, that its shockwaves circled the Earth 3 times. The mushroom cloud rose 64 kilometers high, visible from hundreds of miles away. It was originally designed for 100 megatons, but even the Soviets thought that was too much. Tsar Bomba wasn't a weapon, it was a warning. Humanity had built something capable of erasing itself. In the paranoia of the Cold War, the CIA believed the human mind could be weaponized. The result was MK Ultra, a series of secret experiments on hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and LSD. Many subjects didn't even know they were being tested. One CIA scientist, Dr. Frank Olson, was secretly dosed with LSD, and days later, he fell to his death from a hotel window. The truth? He'd been an unwilling participant. Decades later, declassified files revealed more than 150 experiments involving universities, hospitals, and prisons. The project ended, but its legacy of distrust in government science still lingers. On a July night in 1962, the US detonated a 1.4 megaton nuclear bomb, not underground, but 400 kilometers above the Pacific Ocean. The explosion created an artificial aurora visible from Hawaii to New Zealand. It also destroyed satellites and caused power outages 1,500 kilometers away. The test proved something terrifying. Nuclear war could extend into space. The blast led to global outrage, and eventually, the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, banning weapons of mass destruction beyond Earth. But for one night, the stars themselves seemed to explode. At Los Alamos, the birthplace of the atomic bomb, scientists performed dangerous, hands-on tests with a chunk of plutonium nicknamed the Demon Core. The goal? Measure how close it could get to critical mass. In 1946, physicist Louis Slotin made one small mistake. A screwdriver slipped. A blinding blue flash filled the room. He slammed the metal sphere shut, saving his colleagues, but sealing his own fate. He died 9 days later of radiation poisoning. After 2 such accidents, the experiments were banned. The Demon Core taught a grim truth. Sometimes, even heroes of science pay with their lives. While the world signed treaties banning biological weapons, the Soviet Union secretly built the largest bioweapons program in history, biopreparat. It operated under the guise of civilian research, but produced genetically engineered strains of anthrax, smallpox, and plague by the ton. In 1979, An accidental leak in Sverdlovsk killed dozens and sickened hundreds. For decades, the USSR denied it. Only after its collapse did the full horror come to light. Proof that science, when weaponized, can turn nature itself into an enemy. In the remote wilderness of Alaska stands HAARP, a field of towering antennas blasting radio waves into the upper atmosphere. Officially, it studies the ionosphere to improve communication. Unofficially, conspiracy theories claim it can control the weather, trigger earthquakes, or even influence minds. While scientists dismiss those ideas, there's no denying HAARP's power. 3.6 million watts of energy pulsing into the sky, capable of disturbing atmospheric particles. Whether misunderstood or menacing, HAARP reminds us that today's science fiction can quickly become tomorrow's classified experiment. From splitting atoms to probing consciousness, these experiments reveal a hard truth. The same curiosity that drives progress can also summon destruction. The world has since drawn lines: the Helsinki Declaration, the Non-Proliferation Treaty, the Biological Weapons Convention, all born from the ashes of scientific overreach. But new frontiers are rising: AI, gene editing, quantum weapons, and once again, humanity stands at the edge of discovery or disaster. Because in the end, the real danger isn't in the lab. It's in the hands of those who forget the difference between genius and madness.